look at the BRK Ghost made by BRK. I've got my ATN X-Sight night vision scope on it. Carbon fibre air bottle it's got. There's your air gauge. It's got another gauge on the other side for the regulator, humour regulator. Cross bolt safety catch in quite a good position there. It's slightly in front of the cocking lever. You've got to sort of put your finger around the cocking lever a little bit, but once you get used to it, it's alright. Biathlon style cocking lever. I've put a bipod on it. It's a Picatinny mounted bipod because you've got a little rail underneath where the bottle attaches. There's also a Picatinny rail on both sides of the gun there. So you could put a laser sight or a flashlight on there. That's the bipod I've got. Ordered it from Muttings, Air Force One, tilt and swivel. If you do get one of these, there is a bit of an issue with fitting the bipod on. You can get an extended Picatinny rail for the Ghost, which attaches to the rail there somewhere and goes forward, and then you could have your bipod right at the front. On this one, the way that's fitted on there, the plate on the front of the bipod just touches the bottle there. You can see I have made a slight mark on the bottle there, and what I've had to do is I've had to file off the corner of the bipod mounting plate so it doesn't touch the bottle. Otherwise it just wouldn't have fitted, because there's 3 or 4. I'll just take this off a minute. It's a quick release. So you've got a quick release lever on that side. Press a little button there to release it. And you can see where I've had to butcher it a little bit. I don't like sort of meddling with something that's new, but that's the only way this was going to fit on, because you've got three notches there, and the front one is where it touches that. If you put it on the middle one, the mounting plate will be too close to the back and it just won't fit by about 2 millimeters. So it has to go on the front one, and then I've had to take a little bit of metal off so that it'll fit, which is a bit of a pain, but it works now anyway. This is the sub 12 foot-pound version. It does have a power adjuster on the side, set to max, which it will be for most of the time, because why would you want less than 12 foot-pounds unless you are going to shoot in a barn, possibly. If you're shooting maybe pigeons or rats in a barn, then you can lower the power. It's got 20 power settings. Or was that 19? 18, 19 then, is it? There you go. So that's that. It's got a Picatinny rail on top that I've mounted my scope on. And that Picatinny rail is mounted on a dovetail, which runs the whole length of the top of the gun. So you can slide this rail back and forward, and then obviously you've got your various mounting positions on top of the Picatinny as well. So that's very flexible. It's got an adjustable cheek piece, so you can move that back and forwards as well. I don't think you can raise it up and down. That might be a separate accessory to be able to raise it up and down. It's got a shrouded barrel on it with a carbon effect covering. It is threaded for a 1/2 inch UNF, so you can put another silencer on it or moderator. So the bipod folds up. You just press that button there and that locks into place then. A bit like a cog. Struggling to do this with one hand now and hold the gun up so it won't fall over. Right, that's locked in. And to extend the legs then, you just pull that down. This is the magazine. This is the 2.2 version. I fired the last shot off now, so the cocking lever comes back and it won't go back forwards, so you know the magazine is empty. let's just pull that out and have a look at it. It's got a nice little groove on the back to put your fingers on there to pull it in and out. Magnets to locate it on the gun. This is 11 shots on the 2.2. It's also got a magnetic plate on the front. So you wind the magazine up. It's sort of spring loaded. Wind it up all the way clockwise and start loading your pellets. Now, if you don't do this correctly and wind it up, you're gonna have a bit of a problem. And the first couple of times I, wound it up properly, did it right, and then for some reason I forgot to wind it up, loaded the pellets, and most of them dropped out, except for the last one. Can you see there's a little locating sort of pin in there at 5 o'clock, that one down there. So you've got a little bit of tension when it's wound back. When the magazine's full, it won't rotate backwards, or if there's a pellet in the last slot there, it won't go backwards. So you end up, well, as I did, with one pellet left in there which wouldn't drop out, and you can't fire it because it's at the wrong side, and there's no way of knocking them back through from the other side. So then what you've got to do is, if I can do this one hand, I should have videoed it when I did it really, is get your Allen screw undone, lift the magazine wheel off. You can see a little pinhole there. There's a spring under there, so don't lose that when you pull it off. And it's a little bit fiddly then, because you've got to, well, you can knock your pellet out then once you've taken that off, and then you've got to put the spring back in place through there. I think there was another pinhole at the base of the magazine holder. I can't really remember now, but I think so. And you've got to wind it up in a way that that is located with it in place, so that you can, so that basically once you've put the magazine back on the spring, that it's unwound fully, so then you can wind it up. So as you can see, it's unwound now. Hopefully I won't have to do that again, but I let my daughter have a shoot sometimes and she loads the magazines, so I'm going to be like extra conscious with this magazine that it's been wound up right. Otherwise it's a bit of a pain to sort it out. I've only got one magazine at the moment. That's another thing with these, they are expensive. I've looked online and they're about £75 for a replacement or spare magazine. So not cheap. I'm not sure if if there's a copy available at the moment. There's also a single shot tray available for this. So other than the human error of not winding the magazine up properly before you load it, I haven't had any issues with the magazine. It locates nicely and it feeds no problem. Maybe if they did a Mark II version, it'd be nice if they did a few pinholes on the back, so that if you did wind it up incorrectly, then you could possibly, put a little pin through the back and knock your pellets back out. But there you go, it seems to be quite well made. The best magazine on a gun I've come across is the HW100 Virak. They just seem to be like, like a one-piece cog with your O-ring around the outside, and there's basically nothing to go wrong with those, and they're a 14-shot mag. But there you go, that's a different gun. Right, I've done a barrel clean, did the 1-shot 0 job, so let's see what sort of grouping we can get. Right, we'll go and take a look at the target. It was slightly rushed. I didn't exactly take my time as much as I should have done. So, getting carried away with the shooting. I'm kind of eager for my lunch now. So that's 11 shots at 30 yards. Not one pellet hole, but not a bad group. I think I could tighten that up again a bit. So the night vision scope is great for close range pest control. I was shooting out at 30 yards then, and I would say, you know, obviously I can target shoot a lot further with it, you know, zoomed in or zoomed out, but when you zoom right in, you know, you won't have a nice clear picture that you will have with a normal optical scope. So for that reason, you know, I like to keep it within 30 yards if I want to shoot, you know, really accurately. But, you know, I have shot tin cans and things at the top of the field. So that was the BRK Ghost 22 caliber. I'm really enjoying shooting it so far. That's the first sort of kind of proper group I've done with it at 30 yards. If I sort out a more comfortable shooting position, I should be able to improve on that. Because I was shooting prone, which I quite like doing, but it's not ideal having your fist rested under the back of the gun. So there you go. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.